few things, but hello, Super Comic Bros. My name is Anthony. I'm with Chris Moses. How you doing, bro?
Yeah, I think they know who you are by now, dog.
They
If they're
better know who
watching
I
the
am,
stream,
bro.
I don't think you'd be like, "Hello, my name is." I like we don't need the icebreakers.
My name
Um,
is. You
I'm
always do this, don't you?
yeah, I do. But you wanted to set up the stream today, so it's your job.
Well, no, I
But
asked you to set the stream, but
yeah, but you
something
did it
happened.
before. I see. I am. If you see my room a little bit, I am fulfilling Control Z number 2. It's finally out. We finally got it in our hands, so it will
Finally,
be
bro.
out to everyone tomorrow and Thursday. And yeah, get ready for this shit. This shit is crazy. The printing is amazing. It's beautiful. And yeah, this is a great ride, and we're getting ready for Alpha 5 in 2 weeks.
It
But
drops in 2 weeks. We're gonna be
yeah,
live
two
again.
weeks,
That's a bet. That's a bet. That's a bet.
April 10th.
Hell yeah, bro. AJ, how you doing, brother?
Yo, I'm good. I'm good. How y'all doing? How's comic book world, comic book universe? Everyone out there, peace. Very happy to be here. Thank you for bringing me on the stream. Stoked. I be Twitter stalking all your moves and everything. So it's good to actually be live in the building with you tonight.
Absolutely, man. Yeah, absolutely. It's absolutely respect. I just got Dragon Face. We're doing I think we're gonna do an unboxing, so I haven't opened it up.
Oh, nice.
That looked crazy, man. That looked like that's like when I think of a comic book, like it's like that's the kind of shit I want. It's like, yo, how do you even come up with this idea?
Oh man. So Dragon Face specifically, and if you don't mind, I'm gonna just reach and grab my copy here so I can show it to the screen. Sorry, y'all. And here it goes right here. Okay. So yeah, graphic novel Dragon Face. It's like a horror suspense thriller. I call it a pulp horror thriller just because I like the idea of using the word pulp.
Yeah.
Essentially, in terms of like coming up with it, I think it came from a place of just me just being a huge fan of crime comics and a huge fan of dark fantasy. I was reading like a lot of stuff. I was reading like a lot of Alan Moore. I was reading a lot of crime stuff, Sync and like criminal. And I was like, man, I wanted to make something seedy, dark, intense.
Yeah.
And that's where I landed. So yeah, Dragon Face is my 140 page dark fantasy story.
Is that a volume 1 or is it like done after this?
That's a great question. So I made it kind of like a self-contained story. The way I thought about it is like, this is like a movie where you can see it's got a beginning, middle, and end. But yes, I do have subsequent chapters planned. Depending on how I do with it and how well it sells, I will absolutely continue it. I have a million ideas of where the story is going to go from here, but I also wanted to make it so that if you walked away with this volume, you would feel like you had a complete story.
I feel like that's the good, right? It's like leave something open and then have like something that you could keep going. I like that idea a lot.
Yeah, definitely.
You sold me on I already bought it, so you sold me. But like, I'm especially excited now. Might have to break that bitch open.
Yeah, man. I mean, actually reading Decay. Unfortunately, I've only read the first 2 issues of Decay. I gotta catch up.
Yeah,
and I have not read Intrusive Thoughts. I got an indie stack like this high, and my whole thing is like every book I read, I'm gonna do some type of content for the creators. So when I read your book, expect a video review because that's how I'm doing it right now. But when I read Decay, the first thing I thought about was like, oh man, this guy kind of writes in my wheelhouse. Only he has better dialogue. Like I felt like I think that's the thing that stood out the most to me about Decay was like, man, this dialogue is really flows. It just feels very, very relatable. So for people like I already branded the comic crime, dark fantasy, those types of genres. I was very inspired by that type of stuff. So that's how I created it.
Nah, I think I write better dialogue than anybody. You know what I'm saying? Right, Chris? Ain't that right, Chris?
I mean, you're definitely confident, bro. You're definitely confident. I'll give you that. But you have a campaign running, so maybe you should plug it real quick.
Yeah.
Show the comic book fam what you got cooking.
Since you know what I'm saying, since we okay, hold on.
Let me see if I can simultaneously contribute to the campaign so that you can see it move in real time.
Dude, yeah, because this is that first day, that rush.
Oh man.
It leaves real fast.
I'm trying to get the I'm trying to get the courage to be as Kickstarter consistent as creators like you, because I know a lot of people do really well by incorporating it into their comic book journey.
Yeah.
Having periodic Kickstarters, and it's being very, it's clearly successful for you. It took me so much courage to do my first Kickstarter.
Yeah.
You would think that I would just be like, okay, I got it, I'm ready to do the next one. I'm just like, all of a sudden I'm super nervous again, and I'm just like, oh man, I don't know if I can do it. So yeah, props to you for having a continuous stream of campaigns.
We don't know if it's successful yet. We gotta get funded first. No, so
Nah, you Gucci, you gonna hit it.
Nah, for sure. I think
Good,
for
you
me, it was just like, it's almost like the anticipation was worse than the actual campaigning in a lot of ways. So it was like, you know what? Let me just get this done. Like, let me just throw it out there. And then honestly, is this going to be my best campaign? Probably not. But I think I was talking to Chris, and I was like, yo, I could run another campaign right now. And it's just like, also, I'm kind of like talking conservative a little bit. For me, I really wanted to do more series. Like, I have, I'm looking at my board right now. I have 4 other series that I'm working on right now. So for me, it's just like, I want to get that back catalog. I want to release these comic books, and I really want to get this shit done. So it was easy. Also, I got a thermal printer, and that changed everything. Like,
what do you use the thermal printer for?
So what you do is you bag up the comic book, and then you go to, I use Pirate Ship. I think, Chris, what do you use? Stamps?
No, ShipStation.
You use ShipStation. And then so basically you can download the Excel sheet with all their addresses on it per the reward tier. You upload it, and then it prints out, you pay for it, and it prints out the labels. So you don't have to you can, honestly, I more or less fulfilled in 2 days. Because I have Wednesdays off, and then I just took off Tuesday, and it was a thing of like, all right, I'm gonna bag it up Monday night, and then ship it out Tuesday and Wednesday.
Yeah, I'm going to be doing basically this whole fulfillment tomorrow, and yeah, I mean those shipping services are lifesavers for sure. Yeah, I think this is going to be a good campaign for you, Stokes. And that's like the crazy thing about Kickstarter is you get so much momentum behind you. You get to reach out to so many people, and things really start to feel like they're moving and happening while you're doing it, even though it is a grind and it takes a lot out of you. But doing them consistently and doing them back to back and really like keeping that momentum going and that money flowing, it's definitely an accomplishment and definitely something to continue to strive for sure.
Yeah, so I'm just seeing. I definitely feel some of the fatigue. Like, I'm even scared to ask people that like back the intrusive thoughts. I'm scared to have, like, because it's like, yo, like, we just did this. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, I feel as if this is just the path to go. I think also a thing we had a conversation where I was asking, I was like, bro, why do you think, for lack of a better word, why do you think we're so successful? Not to say that other people aren't successful, right? But just like, what qualities do we possess? What qualities do we possess? Friend of the show. Well, he's your friend, Armin, not my friend. Trevor, like, what is it about us? And you were saying, like, we're willing to learn and we're willing to try stuff out. You know what I'm saying? I think that that's true for all of us. So it's almost about experimentation, right? I always hate this in movies when they say the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. That's not the definition of insanity. But if something isn't working, increasing the output is not going to fix it. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not going to fix doing the wrong method or etc. So yeah, no, I mean, I tried it. Nice to have like a little badge right here.
I mean, as an outsider, just looking at how you move, what impresses me about you is your consistency, your ability to approach the comic book industry from a different angle. Like, I think that there's this new kind of changing of the guard that's going in, where I'm seeing these younger, newer comic book creators who are using different tactics that the old guard just were not even aware of, and it's working in their favor. They're bringing in new audiences. They're bringing in, different content. So I'm excited right now because I'm just looking how everyone's doing it, and everyone's kind of doing it a little bit different, but still having their own version of success. And unfortunately, there's a couple of those people who are toxic and using toxicity to amplify their position, but it's another lane that works well. Also, Chris, I also wanted to shout you out real quick. I don't Control Z. I remember seeing that book. I don't have it. I didn't get it.
It's all good. We'll be back.
Where can I get it? How can I get it? I definitely want to support
sure.
your joint too.
No, definitely. We'll be back on Kickstarter on April 10th for Alpha 5. And if you want to hop on and grab Control Z as an add-on there. And then Control Z will also be coming back, I believe, in the fall. We'll have Control Z 3 coming out. So, it will at some point, I'm sure we'll have each other's books in our catalog somewhere, or in our collection. Yeah. But yeah, Stokes, I think when you asked that question, I think I qualified successful, but I think when it how we continue to improve is all of us are continuously hungry, right? You can have conversations with some of us, and some of us will have on the outside what people would think are really good, strong campaigns, but when the sort of expectations that we have for ourselves, or the goals that we're setting, or just the trajectory that we're trying to hit, we may think okay, this didn't go as well as that I wanted, or these things didn't work as well. Even if something did decent or did okay, we might still look at something and be okay, but how can we make this better? How can we optimize just that a little bit more? What reward can we add here? How can we reduce a price here just to get not just to make more money, but to be better business people, to be better comic book creators, to be better publishers, and just being professional and really figuring out what it means to do this, which is make content and make books and make comics for people to consume, and do it and consistently do it, and make money from it, and be able to hopefully build an audience for the long term, right?
Yeah, 100%. I think adaptability is important. AJ said consistency, and I don't think consistency has to mean launching a campaign every month. You know what I'm saying? I think it could be doing anything, but doing it with a frequency that's consistent. And then as far as the AJ's comment about the doing things differently, it's we've had so many people tell us what we could and can't do, or we should and shouldn't do. And when it makes sense to do something, I'll do it. If it doesn't make sense to me, I'm not going to do it. It's pretty simple like that. And you just I looked at the indie comic space, and it's full. No, excuse me, it's not full, but it's a lot of people in the space. It's quite a lot of people, and for me, it was just about standing out and making a brand. So thank you. We're just giving out flowers today. You know what I'm saying? AJ, you're doing really well too, bro. I see you all over the place, bro. I'll be seeing you doing actual interviews, with a camera.
I'm just total transparency. I'm gonna clip this and create. Because what it is. I'm not as good with the consistency in terms of being on the socials and creating content. I'm a new father. I got a lot of stuff going on. So what I do is I just auto post all my stuff. I'll take an interview such as this one. I'll find 2-3 clips and I'll post them over the next couple of weeks. And then you can recycle a lot of that content. Every 2 months or whatever, you just pull it up. So if you see a lot of stuff on my page, it's stuff that I've recycled, stuff I've clipped, just to keep some type of flow going while I get the rest of my business stuff together. So yeah, thank you though for that.
You don't have a beard. You don't have glasses. That's the thing that people don't realize. It's the little stuff. Just doing clips is huge. It's tedious, but it's huge. You know what I'm saying? I want to start doing clips on this show again, and it's just it costs nothing. It literally costs. You need a computer, but if you're making comics, you already have a computer and stuff like that. So
I'm all about reworking, reusing, repurposing content. It takes a lot of time, even the comic book side. We all know, making a comic book is a lot of freaking work. So once I make my book, like the idea of releasing it as a single issue and then re-releasing it as a graphic novel, or like I'm even thinking about recutting Kimmy Cosmic as a manga, just because like I feel like once that story is created, you know, there's different ways of telling that story or providing it to the audience, even if it's just digital books and, you know, selling comics, the digital sales I get, whatever, however you want to, you know, interact with my content, I'm totally down with making it easy for you to get it that way.
Absolutely. Chris, you have anything else to add?
No, I don't think so. I think we can move on to the next topic. Next topic.
Let me turn this shit off so I don't dox myself, because that's I need 3 monitors, bro. I need the one monitor that's just like only for StreamYard, bro, because you'll pull up some crazy shit. The conversation was about toxic fan bases. I'm thinking of some recent examples of, you know, toxicity there. I mean, look, we talked about the thread last year, you know, last week. That
there's something that just popped off yesterday that was kind of big.
What was it?
And you know what? I know this is going to sound really corny because I just mentioned it, but there's reasons why I can't speak about it directly. A lot of it is kind of legal and whatever. I'll just say this. There's a creator who got their book reviewed, a bad review. Another popular content creator reviewed somebody's comic book. They gave it a really bad review a year ago, and that review caught fire, and it has stayed at the top of TikTok for a year. So when you search this particular publisher, the review is the first thing that came out on TikTok. Now this particular publisher has weaponized their fan base and told them to report this particular content creator to get her video removed from TikTok. And TikTok won't take it down because she didn't do anything wrong. She just said, I don't like your comic, and you know, you're kind of suspect too. And that was enough to get this creator extremely aggravated. And now I'm seeing this whole thing and I'm just like, yo, bro, we're gonna put comics out. People are not gonna like our comics. And if someone makes a review saying that they don't like our comic, we gotta, especially as men, and if it's a woman, we have to just accept that and be like, okay, you didn't like it. As long as they don't take it to another level and make it, you know, personal or whatever, they're entitled to their opinion. You can't weaponize your fan base to then try to destroy that content creator because they didn't like what you created. I feel like I don't respect that personally.
That's some bullshit. I don't know what I'm so fucking curious.
Yeah, no, I'll in the back, and there's reasons why I can't bring it up, but people who are following and stuff like that, y'all just do a little research on TikTok. You'll find it because it's been kind of blowing up. But yeah, just the idea of sending your followers after somebody for a review, that's wild to me.
Nah, yeah, that's mad corny, man. Anytime you're mobilizing people, you know what I'm saying? Like that shit is mad corny.
But it's also interesting to me that when you search for a publisher and this particular review is the number one thing in the search engine, I could also understand being like, oh, I want that to go away, but there's a reason for that though. That's how TikTok works. TikTok algorithm will keep an old video up at the top.
I think that's hilarious. Not the bad video being like boosted up, like, or the review being boosted up. And I think something darker. You said I think elements of fan bases are toxic. Like AF fans are like 90% good, but that fucking 10%, man. I don't know what they're referring to. I think AF is that actual fandom. Shouts out to Dane. Shouts to Dane. Hope he's doing all right. Couldn't make it today. I think that's interesting. Is how do you deal, because every fan base is gonna have toxic people in it, right? How do you handle that? Like I remember Rick and Morty fans were toxic as hell. I mean, what do you do with that? I suppose, you know, like
so here's and I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, but I actually already had a kind of an answer and a question.
Okay.
The way I look at it is if you have a fan base, right? And there's an aspect of your fan base that is toxic, and you are profiting. If you are profiting from that toxic aspect of your fan base, then you unfortunately are complicit to their beliefs. And I kind of think of like, when Donald Trump is president and there's a section of Trump supporters who are like, racist or white nationalists or whatever have you.
Yeah.
If you don't denounce them, then you're saying that you agree with their ideologies. So I noticed that a lot of creators do this. They cop out, the toxic ones, they cop out when their fans are toxic. And they essentially say, oh, that's just, some people who follow me. That's not me. I didn't say that. I didn't do that or whatnot. Yeah, but you're making money and you're uplifted by this toxic aspect of your fan base. So if you do not denounce them, then you are by default saying that you support how they feel.
Yeah, Sketchy has said you as creator need to establish the boundaries with your fans. I agree. No, I agree 100%. Like you can't just be like letting crazy shit rock. And I've even seen some creators who will like kind of not directly mobilize, but be like, oh man, I wish this was taken down or whatever. That shit is corny too. That shit is mad corny.
Yeah, they're hiding behind their fans. They believe what the fans are, and they know the fans will jump out the window and make all the crazy posts and say the racist stuff, say the homophobic stuff, say the sexist stuff that they feel, but they can't technically say. So they let their fans go crazy, and then they just try to absolve themselves by saying, I didn't say it. My fans said it. But we all know what's really going on here. Yeah,
that shit is corny. I'm trying. Yeah, that shit is absolutely corny. I recently got into a kind of. Did you see this conversation about the all fiction as politics? Do you see that shit, AJ?
Mm-mm.
Oh,
really? Enlighten me. So yeah, put me on.
Just Google search.
Oh, we had a whole stream on it.
We did have a whole stream on that shit. That shit was hilarious. Somebody called me a cuckold.
Yeah, that was crazy. Yeah, my opinion on that, I think I don't know if I necessarily agree 100% that you're completely responsible for your fans, but I do think that there is if there is a line where you should be like obviously I don't support whatever that line is, but I also don't think it's just because you have fans that may be like, you can't control who enjoys your stuff. You know what I mean? Like you can't, you don't know once you put it out in the world, who's going to connect with it and for what reason, et cetera, et cetera. But I do agree, if you are, if things get to be to like a heinous, not personal level or unperson, not inhumane level, then I think, you should, you should definitely say something. But I also wonder, like, what does that change? Because that doesn't stop them from liking your stuff. Maybe I'll make them not want to. Maybe it'll make them not support you. But yeah, I don't think it really changes.
Absolutely. I wanted to respond to what something Darker said. He said, and specifically in regards to Trump, and I kind of used him as just a quick example because the first thing that came to my head. I think it's a little bit different when you're the president of the United States and everything that he had going on is a little bit complicated. So maybe it wasn't the best example. But essentially, I think at least once, the question he's asking is how many times do you need to denounce toxic people in your community or whatnot? I mean, I don't know if there is a magic number. I don't think there is a magic number. But once again, it's kind of all about how prominent they are in regards to your success. If a large portion of your success is a group of people who some people would view as toxic, and you consistently from a long period of time refuse to denounce them at all, or maybe you denounced it maybe 3 years ago and since then you haven't said anything, even though it's grown in number, then I think at some point you have a responsibility to say something. And also in response to what you just said, Chris, absolutely, you can't be responsible for every single person who likes your thing. And that's why I made the point of saying how big of a percentage of your fan base is toxic and how big of that percentage do you benefit directly from as a creator. If 60% of your fans are toxic and you're making most of your money from this fan base, you can't separate yourself from that.
Yeah, no, that's fair. That's fair. I mean, you can't separate the perception of that people have of you because of your fan base, for sure. But I mean, it's definitely lends questions of like, why do all these people support you, etc. But it's still, it may not necessarily be enough to be like, I mean, if you denounce once, I mean, how many times, like Something Darker Say, do you have to continue to do such? I mean, you do it one time on video and then it's there on YouTube forever or something. So, I mean, maybe that's enough. I mean, it's definitely a nuanced conversation. It's hard to say. And there's definitely, obviously, a lot of things that go into it because obviously nobody's fan base is 60% toxic. It's usually like 1%, 2%, 5%. And if it's 10%, it's only 1% of that 10% that's really even posting and doing all these. And then it's even a lesser percent that's going further and, you know, maybe doing like, you know, unalive threats and things like that, and getting really crazy with it. So, I mean, you definitely should have to. I don't know if you should have to do anything, but I definitely think people, if there are toxic members of your fan base, and you are making money from it, as you said, I think I agree that you should have some responsibility in saying and showing everybody else that you don't support this. But at one point, you do have to, you know, you can't. You just gotta just throw your hands up in there. Really, I mean, what else can you really do about it? If people continue to support you after you've already denounced the things that they seem to continue to spout, then I mean, what else can you really do about it?
And also, you know, I think that I'm really speaking more specifically about the people who never denounce anything, and they're doing it as they're using their fan base as a tactic. Like I said, a shield. They know that their fan base can do and say things that they can't do, or they'll get pulled off the internet. And, you know, they have, I'm thinking about a certain creator in particular who just has an army of like people on Twitter and IG who will just jump on you if you try to, you know, have a debate with them or, you know, question something that they've said. And it's very strategic. It's very effective. And, you know, they use, I already made the point that they use their fan base as a shield, but yeah, no, thank you for that, Chris. Thank you for that. Something Darker. Good question. Yeah, that's pretty much how I feel about it.
Yeah, I think what's interesting is when it's definitely not a good idea to build a fan base like that, because if you build a fan base off of toxicity, you essentially like you have to be toxic, right? Like you're kind of backing yourself into a corner at that point. I remember I'll keep it general here. There's a creator and they said they liked a movie, and you know, a movie featuring, you know, a character that you could call diverse, you know, what have you. He's like, the movie's pretty good. And his fans like, oh, we lost them. And they were like, LOL, I'm just kidding, I never watched it. And I was like, yo, that's the saddest fucking moment.
that was a clear backtrack. I know exactly what you're talking about. I know
just now. Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. That was a bad. It was that. I'm just like, come on, bro. Like, you know, you already put it out there. You already admitted to watching and enjoying it, and because your fans, you know, want to act like that was a bad thing to do, you're gonna walk it back. It's a movie. You can like a movie, man. Like, go ahead.
You
And it was a good movie.
I mean, yeah. Yeah, I might have said too much. I mean, fuck, I gotta be honest. I'll be thinking about this shit, bro. Like with everything that's on YouTube, and there's some big fish that I do not want to be on their radar. But I gotta keep it a buck. Like, damn, I'm glad my fan base will allow me. Like, I feel like I built my fan base on like being genuine, you know what I'm saying? Or at least, you know what I'm saying? Some people would say genuine, but that's how I see it. And it's like, bro, if my fan base is like, yo, you like this movie, you're cooked, I don't know what I would do. I would cry. Like that is a rough. What do you think, Chris? Am I tripping? Or like, if you were like, I'm playing Diablo 4 and then somebody was like, oh, you play Diablo 4? Like, I'm canceling my pledge to like, but it was like a lot of people though. Like it was a couple people.
Like a couple people, like you start playing like another game that maybe that you should people would cancel you for.
It's like you're losing. You're losing a substantial amount of money because you liked something. You said you liked something that's not even that political. I can't even believe the movie in question. It's like
I don't
every
know.
movie. This movie that was that we're alluding to was actually, I thought it was really good. It's like every time there's a culture war over something, it's always right down the fucking middle. Like it's never anything good. Like Parasite and it didn't cause a culture war. You know, a piece of shit like Black. You know, I don't know. Let's say Black Adam was a piece of shit. It's always these movies that are like Ghostbusters. You know what I'm saying? Like She-Hulk. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like, can we if we're gonna fight about something, can we be something substantial or notable? You know what I'm saying? Just something I noticed, because it's like, how do y'all have this much to say about these milquetoast ass movies? Like, I can't think of 3 sentences to say about Ghostbusters 2016. Like, how?
Yeah. I don't know what it is. It's something. I think it's because we're on Twitter. Because I feel like you go into like the real world and like nobody watches DC movies. Like nobody watches or if they do, they know they're bad. Like nobody like argues seriously that any of these things are like good. And so it's definitely. When it comes to culture war stuff, though, I mean, that's just like the way of people, right? Like if there's no like real right answer, like people are just going to be 50-50 on it, or as close to that as possible.
I wish, but I would just wish if I was arguing about somebody, I only have so many times to argue about like Ghostbusters 2016, like, you know what I'm saying, like She-Hulk.
Zero.
Like I don't have that much. We talking about Parasite, Infinity War, even movies I hate. Like I hated Scream 5. Like I think that's one of the worst movies I've ever seen. I can argue about that for days, but something just in the middle where I'm like, it's all right.
Yeah, it's just like it was just mid. It's like why are we even talking? Why are we even
arguing about this? Like, yeah. Exactly.
It's like when you're like arguing with someone and you're just like, whatever, dude. It's like, yeah, you got it. Like
I was playing Smash Bros. This is like a similar situation, I think. Like I'm playing Smash Bros with my boy.
Oh, you Smash?
I'm a Smash player. Yeah, I'm the best one on the.
Bro, you're not gonna see my Zelda, dog.
I love Zelda.
You're not gonna see my Zelda.
Playing Ultimate,
who's your main?
Hold on. We'll
Ultimate's great. Ultimate is.
No. Fellas.
No. We only fuck with Melee here, boys.
Fellas.
We only play Melee.
Fellas, I was making a point.
Who's your main?
Oh my God, I'm the host. He muted himself. He didn't. I didn't mute AJ. I'm playing Smash Bros with my boy, right? We're going back and forth. He wins, I win. It gets toxic, but like, it's like we're not trying to be toxic, but it is toxic. Like I win, I'm like, all right, we're done. He's like, pick that fucking controller up. Like I win, he wins. I'm like, man, fuck this shit. And we do it again. I'm like, dog, I'm done. He's like, pick up that fucking controller. And I was like, neither one of us are having fun right now. Neither one of us are enjoying this. What are we doing? And that's how I feel about arguing about these like lame ass, middle of the road ass like franchises, like pop culture shit. It's like, bro, neither one of us are going to change each other's minds. Some people like, basically your opinion is being formed because of the ethnicity. Is gender covered in ethnicity? You're making up your mind about, you're making your mind up about something just because of what the main character looks like, I guess we can say. So it's like, what's the point of even going back and forth?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a waste of energy sometimes. But I can agree with something darker about, like, you know, there is something to just giving up on something, and people that have the drive and the attention span, I guess, to really focus on one thing. You could definitely get a lot of stuff done because people at some point are just not going to care anymore. So I could definitely see that. I mean, maybe that's a problem that we have as a society, that maybe we should care more. But I guess there's also an argument for saying that maybe we should care less. Maybe everyone should just care a little bit less and do the things that really, or focus a little bit more on the stuff that matter, like, you know, family, Kickstarters, yeah, making money on comics.
Get that
bag.
Oh man, get that bag.
I think certain movies are like breeding grounds for toxicity. Like Ghostbusters 2016 almost gave birth to this whole anti-fandom movement You know, and then you have the Star Wars movies, and you know, just like you said, a lot of these movies just aren't good and aren't worth the dialogue that people put over them. But because they just do certain things that people are triggered by, they just kind of continue on in the conversations. We're still talking about Ghostbusters 2016. Like, no one talks about the RoboCop remake or the Total Recall remake that I think came out like that same year, because it did, and those movies were equally as disappointing. But because they didn't have those trigger points in them, we're not talking about them. What's the difference? I always ask one of these anti-fans, what's the difference between Ghostbusters 2016 and the RoboCop 2017 or 2015 or whatever? And we all know the difference between those two movies. I actually like the RoboCop remake. I think it's actually pretty good. But, you know, the point is that there's so many bad remakes. Ghostbusters 2016, just like you alluded to, Stokes, is just another bad remake. Who cares? Let's forget about it and move on. But they can't because of certain trigger points.
And now, so I mean, I guess we can talk about like, I feel like this is the case. Like people, when we're talking about the 21st century, we're talking about late, you know, we're talking about 2022, we're talking about 2023. We're really, what does Chris say? Postmodern. It's like the way that you get notoriety these days is by is by trolling, essentially, like making memes, trolling. Also, I think there's a serious argument that the Ghostbusters, I can't think of the name, Ghostbusters 2016 had an effect on the election, which is insane. Like that is it's absolutely insane. But when you look at like, and that's what people like, a quick pivot back to why I act on Twitter, because it's like, yo, this is the way. Doja Cat made a song about being a cow, and then now she got canceled, and then she's back, and she is a major recording artist. Lil Nas X made literally the most popular song of all time, and to follow that up, to stay relevant, he started trolling. I'm wondering if these franchises, like Velma, I think Velma absolutely. I mean, even when you look at the design of April, I'm not going to comment on the like whatever, rather, you know, but that character definitely seemed designed to maybe this is ridiculous to make people mad. You know, whether or not they have the merit to be mad, whatever that has, I don't know. And I'm starting to wonder, is that what they're doing?
100%.
That's what
they're trolling the trolls. I mean, She-Hulk basically did that very transparent, where they were just like, we're going to poke fun back at you guys because you guys are always coming for us. And I think there's mixed results with that. I liked how She-Hulk handled that. I think other shows and movies, it doesn't work as much. And if She-Hulk keeps doing that, it might end up not working well for that particular show. But I mean, they're obviously conscious of what's going on. And, you know, what else are you going to do but, you know, poke fun at that?
Yeah, I feel like though. Oh, sorry, Sos. I just feel like that. Like maybe some of it is poking fun of it, but I also think some of it's just like deliberate. Like, we know this works well in the algorithm, and it's like very like if we're using TMNT for an example, regardless of what you think of the changes or not, they made those changes knowing that there would be some sort of social media frenzy and backlash between either the toxic fan bases or like on either side, you know, like there's probably 10% on both sides that like are really on one side, really left, really right, that are for the TMNT. And they knew that like this was going to piss off this 10%, and then this 10% being pissed off will piss off this 10%, and that's going to fuel it so that now the rest of the 80% will actually see it on their feeds past, you know, all the, like the Instagram models and other bullshit that you find on like social media. So I think it's super like a blatant and on its face, and like that's why it's almost hard to see anything without being like, oh, this is just blatantly trying to make money from me or make it so that I engage with it so that they can make some money off of someone else that will now see it. So I mean, it's definitely I think when it comes to how do we even like tackle this kind of stuff, I mean, I really feel like going back to like not caring and just not engaging, it's like, you know, you almost don't want to engage with all this stuff, even if it might be important, because it's just allowing these corporations and these studios and these, streaming services to continue to push all this bullshit down our throats that makes us even angrier and even more polarized, just so that we can even see it on our dumbass feeds. So I mean, it's definitely a
Let me say
lot.
something real quick.
So
Yeah.
And so I had 2 points because I always talk about this where it's like the example that always makes me mad, and I think the term Mary Sue is bullshit. I think it's absolutely a lazy ass. Motherfuckers called the main character from Prey a Mary Sue, even though she's like a Comanche warrior, like she trained. So like even by that definition doesn't make sense. Clearly not a self-insert character. But it's like you have one people calling Ray a Mary Sue, and it's like, all right, well, like I don't think she's a great written character. I think she's kind of all over the place, so I wouldn't call her Mary Sue. And then you have the response to that. They're like, "Oh, Luke did the same thing," and it's like, "Whoa, hold on a second. Like, what is it? What's the mean? You got too much dip on your chip." It's like, why are you basically the writing doesn't matter at this point. We've gotten so far away from the main point, which is the talking point, and that's kind of how I feel about some of this stuff. Like, I think like people who hate everything are wrong, right? Like it's wrong to just hate on everything, like to just be like a contrarian, just shit on everything. I think it's also wrong to just be like, if you don't like this, I don't know, I feel bad for you. Like you can't enjoy fun, you can't have fun. Like they're both ruining discourse, right? And they're both fostering an environment where we can't actually talk about the quality of the movie, the TV show, or what have you. Is now how much is it? And I think She-Hulk, there's a way to satirize the fan base. Like there's a way to like poke fun at Velma. Velma was terrible. Like I'm gonna use Velma, where Velma was like, it was making fun of the responses to the fans, but it was just so lazy. It was just incredibly lazy. And it's like, that's not, you're not helping the argument. You're not satirizing anything, you know. So I'm wondering, like, how or should we hold these? Like, I think HBO has done this a couple times. Do we hold them somewhat accountable for kind of stroking the flames? Not like Prey, like we'll use Prey. Like casting a female character isn't. That's just normal. Like that's not a big deal. But like, injecting certain politics or injecting certain items to get people mad. I mean, do they bear some responsibility for that?
I think it's a great question. I think if it's done intentionally to poke the bear and kick the beehive, then I don't really agree with that. But if you have a creative idea and it incorporates a concept that might be controversial, and that by releasing this idea you're gonna create controversy. But if you believe in your story, as long as you're true to the story and what you're trying to tell, I have no problem with that. But I think that these studios, they're playing the game that everyone else is playing. Chris just talked about, how the algorithm works and how we're kind of slaves to it, and how, people who just say, okay, I'm going to create this type of content because I know it's going to, push my my brand further. I think that's just what the major studios are doing now. They're like, hey, we need to break through this algorithm as well. So we need to put out some stuff that we know is going to be controversial. Or even if we don't do something controversial, we need to lean into it more, just to make sure that people see it and it stirs the pot, and we can kind of get the buzz from that to make money essentially. And actually the counter question I had for y'all real quick is, how do y'all feel about incorporating controversy into your brand? Because I see you, Stokes, you don't seem like you mind going to bat with some of these people, which I respect. I totally respect, because me, I'm kind of like, it's not that I'm timid or scared. Like, we talk on the streets, we gonna have a conversation. But in the terms of social media, I'm not going back and forth with you on Twitter and all that. It's too much energy. I'd rather be creative, right? So for me, I don't like to do it, even though, just like Chris said, you will benefit from it. So I guess I'm just asking y'all, how do y'all feel about monetizing haters and incorporating drama into your social media approach to promoting your brands?
Man, listen, I was talking to somebody yesterday, and like, the more you rise, bro, like you have to stop arguing with people on Twitter. And I was like, bro, I can't stop. Like, if somebody talks to, I just hate bad arguments. Like, truthfully, like motherfuckers would be like, this, that. Like, if we align politically perfectly and you make a bad argument, I'm gonna be more mad at you because you're misrepresenting my fucking argument. I think fictionally, like fiction wise, I would never. I think it needs to be separate, because then you're you're intentionally leaning into bias when you're writing fiction, and that's something I'd be careful about. I mean, but you know the answer. Like, I love stroking the flame, bro. Like, it's just shit. This shit is amazing, bro. Like, I've done some drugs in my life, but like trolling people, just that shit just hit different, bro. So that's my answer, and I'm just playing the game. I'm just looking at the blueprint of, you know, what's coming before. You know what I'm saying? Like, looking at Lil Nas X. Like when I saw this motherfucker, like, keep being relevant by just being wild, just like I was like, yeah, that's it. Chris is scary, bro. He don't he don't really
So you know, there was an influencer that said that you want to either, I mean, we live in an attention economy,
yeah,
and you want to, you know, be somebody that gets a lot of attention, and controversy gets you a lot of attention, and you know, you either have to be that person or you have to have somebody on your team that's that person. So I'm personally, you know, I don't really tweet hot takes. I don't really, I just write my shit and promote. But obviously, the Super Comic Bros Luigi is no stranger to ops. So
I don't.
I think it's definitely important. I think you need to find some way. Everyone needs to find some way to be getting that attention, because attention, as we've been saying, like, you know, time on people's feeds, you know, the algorithm actually favoring you is like what this world really is running on now, and for, I'm not going to say for the foreseeable future or for forever, but at least right now. And right now is what matters if you're trying to make money on Kickstarter, or if you're really trying to, you know, build your audience or get your book out there.
I know, motherfuckers. Let me say this real quick. Motherfuckers be like, "Oh, you're just like riling people up to get eyes on your comic book." It's fucking working.
And what's wrong with that?
I'm saying, bro. And it's,
You know what I
I'm
mean?
not even going after cultural shit. I'm just like, I'm just talking about hot takes.
How far? So I guess my next question is, how far would you go for that? Like, you know, there's a certain creator who's super controversial and made a lot of money last year releasing one comic book, and this particular creator invited me to debate him on his channel.
Yeah.
And I declined because I was just like, I was in the middle of my Kickstarter, and I was like, nah, I don't want to be a hater, a monetized hater. So I'm asking you, would you have a debate? If someone, you know who I'm talking about, Stokes, if that person called you out to do a debate, would you, knowing that you're going to get a lot of buzz, whether it be negative or positive, from doing a debate of that stature, would you go on this person's show?
You should answer hypothetically, just because, yeah. Answer hypothetically says.
Yeah, no, I would absolutely go on that person. I'm not going to answer hypothetically. Yes, I would absolutely go on that show, especially about a campaign. I feel like you fumbled a little bit.
Yeah, I couldn't handle it, dude. I had a 3-month-old at home. I had my first Kickstarter. It was too much. I was like, I came close to it, but I was like, nah, I can't. I'm not ready for the smoke.
It's hard to say.
Already, I was getting all types of crazy stuff on Twitter by his fan base, and this is going back to the toxic fan base. They were coming for me. And that's how I know how you can weaponize your fan base in a very sneaky and effective ways. But go ahead, Chris.
No, for sure. I was going to say it's kind of hard to judge, because I feel like this particular creator maybe has a polarized fan base on certain social lines or political lines, but maybe not on others, and is maybe more popular than maybe a lot of people even think. So I think it's hard to say, like, is it maybe it might have been a good move not to do, because, you know, you never know. Like, obviously the eyes are good and you want to have, and there should be X amount that will transfer over to your stuff. But it depends on the fan base. If the fan base is super polarized and very there's a word that's escaping me right now, but if they're very, loyal, I guess, maybe it might be the word. You might.
So would you do it?
We have conversations about this, and I think there's a point there may be a point, but I think for now I think we're just doing our own thing, and I think it's there's certain, when it comes to outrage and, like, you know, fan bases, there's certain fan bases you want to tussle with, and there's certain fan bases you don't, and then there's certain fan bases that, like, maybe you have overlap with. You know, like things like that. Like, you don't know what I don't think we know the extent of these lines all the time when we're going to bat against other people's fan bases. So it's hard to say and what you may or may not lose.
Shouts out to Larry, but I went on Larry's stream, which was like pretty hostile. So that would tell you. Like I'm just like I said, I would do it.
You want to smoke?
I do want to smoke. Absolutely, because I'm like, yo, who the fuck? Nobody. Not for 1 second do I think like anybody's actually gonna do anything truthfully. And
but why are they threatening violence in these debates though? Why they're acting like if I see you at a con, I'm like, yo, I'm from the east side of Buffalo and I came into comic book nerddom to escape all of that. And now we getting gully in debates about comic books. You talk about if you see me at a con, it's hand, we gonna throw hands? Like really? Okay. Because here's the thing. I want to respond real quick to the chat to something Darker's asking about. I didn't say this person's name, but if particularly if I went into a debate, I would absolutely not come off as a jackass. But ultimately, I noticed that particular person you're speaking about tends to debate certain people that he can kind of talk down to and physically intimidate. And I don't really see him debating with a strong black man from an urban environment. I just noticed he doesn't really debate with those people. So I think if me or Stokes stepped up, it'd be a different debate.
Yo,
that's all I'm saying.
They just try to use me as a shield. If
it was me, specifically Stokes.
But oh man, yeah. I'm just waiting for somebody like you. Yeah, I guess I'm kind of trying to live vicariously through you and just like But ultimately, I feel like at some point, if we grow, I grow, you grow, we all grow. At some point, we're gonna bump heads with certain people. Like there's gonna be smoke. Essentially, I'm very protective of the comic book community. If it wasn't for comic books, got me through a lot of hard times in my life, and I'm not trying to have these friggin' toxic weirdos infiltrate this community and make millions literally with mediocre product. And toxic behavior. I'm protective of comic books. I'm protective of women. I'm protective of a lot of people in this community who have been persecuted and have used comics to kind of free themselves from that persecution. And now that they're in the comic book community, now they're getting persecuted a whole different way because these, people want to come in and infiltrate. And, at some point, I feel like it's inevitable that, something's going to go down. So I'm trying to walk on eggshells here. But
here's what I would say. I have way less to lose than a lot of people. That's what I'll say there. But I okay, we're gonna speak generally here because that's a lot of smoke. that is a lot of smoke. But no, I see what you're saying. Like certain people, What I will say is I agree with you. Some people only pick fights that they win, essentially. You know what I'm saying? But I agree with you. When it's a debate, I love a good debate, bro. When two people don't like each other, but they can communicate ideas, that shit is A+ entertainment. I need that. I'm not. I also see what you're saying, where it's like I had some brush-ins with some big names, and looking down the barrel of that gun, I'm not in any hurry. You know what I'm saying? Also, yeah, these motherfuckers are sweet, bro. These motherfuckers are sweet. There's so many few people in comic books that I think can kick my ass. I'm not even gonna lie, but especially the fans, especially the fucking fans, bro. I'm like 280, bro. I don't think y'all really.
Yeah, it's especially people who claim that they work out and claim that they're athletic and they're on streams every day in tank tops, and you're like, yo, your arms look mad skinny, bro. You talking about you're working out and you can fight people at cons. I'm sizing you up and I can see you, and you're not looking very intimidating to me. So talking all of that gully stuff, and also it's completely unnecessary. We're talking about comic books. We're talking about fictional characters. Why are you escalating it because you also, going back to what we've been saying, it creates a viral energy. And now you look like this dominating alpha male type of creator, and everyone's rallying behind you, when really you're behind a screen talking smack to someone in a comic book debate, which is the corniest thing I could imagine.
Oh man, this is oh my fucking god! How did we end up here? Please, oh no!
Pivot.
How the fuck did we end up? It wasn't me. This was not me, bro. AJ set me up.
No,
Dog.
it's been a good. I think it's been a good conversation. We haven't said anything crazy, so
Yeah, I man, but nah, I'm gonna elaborate, man. I'm gonna elaborate. You motherfuckers run up on me on a con, bro. Y'all motherfuckers run up on me on a con, especially if I have a soul shit that day. Oh my god. You might get fucked up. Like, y'all think shit is sweet, bro. I don't know how y'all be talking to motherfuckers crazy. I'm a neutral. At least I'm a neutral.
I mean, I'm not a, and the thing is, I'm not a violent person. Like I do not, as corny as it sounds, I'll do everything to not promote violence and de-escalate any type of physical situation. I think if I got into a fight at a comic book convention, that I lost. Even if I won the fight, I lost, because I'll probably get kicked out of the con or what. It's net negative. I would never want to physically, but I'm also not going to sit here and let you try to intimidate me through a debate, especially because you think that you can physically do that to most people in this community, because they're not fighters, they're not physical people. So you think you can bring that energy into this community and kind of dominate it with your your dialogue. And I'm not about that, because you haven't come up to people who are going to check you back on that level. And like I said, I'm going to avoid it until I have no choice. Then the Eastside Buffalo is going to come out, and then it's going to be a different type of conversation. That's all.
Nah,
but anyway, let's keep this positive, man. I don't want to even go into
my
that
language. No. You're right. Listen. I'm not a violent guy either, but all motherfuckers put your hands on me. All right.
Right. Exactly. Violence is corny, dude. Violence is corny, especially in a comic book setting at a con. It's like I said, it's corny. But
we here to meet fans and shit, but
this particular, I'm triggered now because I'm thinking about that particular creator saying, if I see you at a con, it's on site. Like, really? Said no one ever.
There's too many people in a con for it to be on site. You gotta move. You gotta be so funny. If you're you about to fight, and there's like a row of people, you're like, man, fuck it. Never mind. I feel like an idiot.
And you're stepping on somebody's cosplay, you get hit by a sword. It's like some
you see somebody with Cloud cosplay, you grab his big sword, like, let's go to the battle.
I was at a con like this weekend. Let me say, and I think we can wrap. We definitely need to wrap soon, because Jesus Christ, we're going down a very scary road, strife with turbulence, and man. I went to a con this weekend, man. I had the time of my fucking life, bro. I saw
the pictures. Yeah, tell us about it. Wait, which con?
Galaxy Con
again?
Richmond. Con Richmond.
Okay.
Somehow I get sat next to Pat Shan, bro. So I'm sitting next to this motherfucker. I just get to watch. We're just talking. You know what I'm saying? I'm just soaking up knowledge. Just what getting knowledge, you know what I'm saying? I got to do a panel about indie comics, and I got a professional picture taken of me, and I feel so fucking vindicated for all those marketing as a comic book making skill posts. I might do it again. I might post that exact image. Like, what'd you do this weekend? You probably just ordered Domino's. You probably just ordered fucking Domino's and played fucking Apex. I was at a con, inspiring other creators.
Playing Fortnite.
Like a real shooter player. Fortnite players are lit. But here, fuck all that shit. I was with hanging out with one of my good friends. They were a helper. They were fantastic. 24x4 I saw. Always happy to see 24x4. Dog, the fucking food was the best part, yo. We are in downtown. We're downtown Richmond, bro. The first meal we get, there's a Jamaican spot. Motherfucker was rude as hell, so I knew the food was about to be smacky. Now I ordered jerk chicken. I think they gave me stewed chicken.
What do you mean you think they gave you stewed chicken?
Because my friend ordered stewed chicken and it looked exactly the same. The shit wasn't brown. The shit was like, I don't know. It was weird, but it was good. It was still good. And then, oh my God, the beef patties. Good Lord. Then what do we have for dinner? No, first off, my helper pulls up with Krispy Kreme donuts. Lit. Go to the con, get Jamaican patties. Sit next to Pat Shan, you know what I'm saying? What did we get at night? We go to a fucking Korean place that is 0.2 miles away from the con. I get a Korean corn dog, which was fucking amazing, but still not. It didn't have the potatoes. It was good. It had cheese, and then I got beef bulgogi bowl. Fucking phenomenal. The next day, we get some more beef patties, of course, and then.
Yo, bro, what do you mean you got more beef patties? Do you have like an iron, like my grandfather's from Jamaica, that whole side of my family, and so I've eaten so many beef patties in my goddamn life, bro. I would never eat a goddamn Jamaican beef patty before I went to a con. I'd be shitting my fucking brains out. Like jerk shit, like damn, bro, you're going crazy. That's why. And then you got it again. Like if I was lucky enough not to have destroyed the toilet after the first one, I would not have gone back. That's crazy that you went for a second one. But was it buzzing?
Who said I didn't shit? That's what's crazy.
I just left that out of the story.
I've never been more regular in my life. Okay, Sunday. Let me finish. Sunday, we get just like a little mom and pop like chicken fingers and like fries. They put like seasoned salt or Old Bay on the fries. I appreciate that. I like when the fries have seasoned, a little seasoned salt, throw some Maury's in that bitch. Really nice, really light meal. Chicken fingers was light meals. That's fucking crazy. Oh, that night I had a pastrami sandwich. A little light on the pastrami, but it was good and it had delicious.
Like a Reuben kind of situation,
Reuben, basically. Yeah, no, I had a Reuben with the
sauerkraut. Oh, there we go.
Oh my God, I had a delicious drink. I had 2 or 3 Cosmos in the last week, and I'm loving life. I fucking love Cosmos. I don't care if they're girly. They're fucking delicious. And then, yo, what's up, Cody? What's good, bro? Back that campaign, boy. And then the next day we end with Five Guys. So it's like, yo, and like, dude, I gained like 5 pounds this weekend. Jesus Christ.
Yo, controversial take that the Haitian beef patties hit harder than the Jamaican ones. And like I just recently got put on the Haitian beef patties, and the crust is flakier. It's more like a puff pastry type of crust. Ooh,
no, Haitian beef patties do slap. Another fun fact: my grandma is Haitian, so we've had so getting both of them growing up, and I don't know. There's something classic about the Jamaican beef patty that I like, but the Haitian ones are they slap. The flaky. Sometimes they got the fish Jones. That shit is definitely good.
The conch, the conch patties.
They definitely hit. They definitely hit. I can definitely fuck with some Haitian beef patties. I fuck with griot a lot. Like Haitian food just slaps, honestly. It definitely doesn't get enough love as opposed
not nearly enough love.
Yeah, to Jamaican food.
Listen,
said, Chris, how you light skin? I was like, how you skinny too? You talking about this good? You talking about that good food talk, bro?
Man, nah, bro. I could talk. Let me tell you real quick. My top three foods. Like right now, Korean food's number one. Just the combination of flavors and just especially. Oh, don't let it be all you can eat. Jesus Christ. 2, Indian food. I'm gonna say / Greek Mediterranean food, because anything with a pita or naan, that's not the same, but oh my God, fucking amazing, And then smash burgers. I had 2 of the 3 last weekend, bro. It was a beautiful weekend, one of the best weekends of my life. Shouts out to Pat Shan. Shout
out to Pat Shan. I just got put on to him. I think I might have saw you posted something about him, and he did that deep dive. Still up on Twitter Spaces about Kickstarter and what's hot on Kickstarter now and what's working. I found that very informative. Apparently, I need to make a booby comic if I want to get a fulfilling Kickstarter Because sex is doing
don't
really
hurt.
well on KS.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely is. I think Pat always talks about like it's an underserved group of people that Kickstarter can this is the place for them. I also think though, if we're talking more on like a macro societal level, I mean, things that go up when the economy starts to not do as well as corn and porn basically and
Right.
drugs, right? Like those
Prawn.
things for like addictive things, right? Like, so I
Right,
mean,
right.
there's not anyone telling you be like, yo, start selling that thing, like, but open up an OnlyFans. But it's more like there's trends, right? And there's going to be things that may be a little bit more resistant to societal and economic pressures, and that could also be a reason why NSFW or mature things are still doing well on Kickstarter while other things are not. It could be because people will always have money for that kind of stuff. There's always going to be money for your addictions, whereas maybe the things that are a little bit more, that don't land in those high dopamine sources may fall to the wayside when money becomes a little bit more strict.
That's a super valid point, and I also want to make a distinction that when I say booby comics, I really respect erotica, like as an art form and as a writing. I don't want to make it. I feel like that term kind of marginalizes it. However, there are some comics that aren't really erotica that are just booby comics, and some of those I'm just kind of like, really, like, damn, you got a 5-figure Kickstarter because you put a scantily clad woman on your cover. But yeah, no, what you said is absolutely right. I mean, thinking about it as an addiction, I guess I never connected to comics as that way, but there clearly are people who do. It is a good tactic to stay alive during these times. So good point, Chris.
Well, yeah, I mean yeah. Sorry, so just but like, well, one, we're definitely not opposed to
talking.
Yeah, because I'm gonna keep talking. I'm Mario, you're the weepy baby. That's how it works. But
like I was saying.
no, that's crazy. But yeah, I think no, you're spitting. I think definitely. I think there's definitely a lot of money on the platform for these different types of comics, and it's definitely important to be flexible and know what works and what doesn't work, and how you can continue to make the thing when it becomes hard to make the thing, right? When it becomes hard for everyone to make the thing, that's an even more important time for you to continue to make the thing, right? So it's just something to keep in mind. I don't think it's like the end all be all. Like, I don't think everything needs to be a booby comic, even though I'm not opposed to it. Stokes, I know, isn't opposed to selling that kind of stuff. We may even have separate projects that are tapping into those markets. And I think if you're being a businessman, it's important, just like it's important to bring it back full circle to the topic of the stream. It's to be a good businessman, to be a good businesswoman, be a good business person, you need to take into all these things into account and have to maximize your reach and your resources. And that's, I mean, that's one of them, like finding the trends and putting the thing that out there that will make money off of those trends, and harnessing those toxic fan bases appropriately to make hopefully the rest of your fans more things, the fans that you actually care about, the fans that you actually want, that are in line with your values and just really want to support you.
Can I ask y'all, have you ever done an SFW like alternate covers for any of your Kickstarters, and would you in the future?
Yeah. I actually have one printed out right now that I could go grab. Let me see. Let's see it. Yeah, give me one second.
Yeah, I mean, I think I was personally, because I was personally one of the motherfuckers that, what's funny is one of the first Kickstarters I saw was actually, was it Thirsty? I saw Thirsty, and I was hating on Pat. And I told him about this when now we're cool, and I was like, yeah, this motherfucker just selling sex. And it's just like, there's merit to erotica. You know what I'm saying? I think the thing to do is that if you have a story that works, that has sex as a plot point, you should.
I thought I turned off my camera. Did I not?
No, bro. We just.
All right, that's fine.
Your really ominous background.
Yeah. Well, here we go.
Oh, nice. So this is oh
Don't ban us, YouTube. Don't ban us. No ban.
this is erotica. This is art right here.
Yeah, this is art. This is art.
So this is an alternate cover, or is this the standard cover of this book?
This is the alternate cover. It's one of the
okay. And you did this on Kickstarter. You put that on Kickstarter as a variant.
Yeah. Obviously, we covered up the nudity, but
right, certainly.
And it was like limited. This one was probably it sold basically the same amount as the other most popular cover, which was by Tina Valentino, which is a not safe for work. So it does not safe for work stuff does do well. I think this is a great cover. It's by Riccardo Ribaldo. He's an amazing Italian artist, and he's up and coming, and he's great. So I think that the two things and together plus the exclusivity part, I think helped it do well.
Did you do like a situation where there's like one version of the cover where like maybe the character's covered up and then it's the same image only nude kind of thing, or did you do a completely separate cover?
So for this one, it's just this version where it's like not safe for work. But I do have a not safe for work variant for my next comic, the Siren Effect Alpha, launching April 10th, and we do that, which is the and it's an economical thing to do. It makes it easy. Maybe you throw a little bit extra money to your artist, and you can absolutely get another cover where you can do a naughty nice and bump up the amount of rewards you actually have.
So for the nudity, obviously you mostly see female nudity. Would you guys ever consider doing male nudity?
Yes, actually, I have a cover idea that actually did that, because I think you have to do. It should be equal opportunity horny. I like to call it. You know what I'm saying? If we want to see boobs, I'm trying to see some abs. I'm trying to see some dick prints.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to see some cock. You know what I mean? Like,
how big of a dick would you put on your cover? Because I'm kind of thinking about mine. Actually, it's actually an honest question. Like sometimes I'd be like, I'm gonna make my joint dragging on the floor just because like that's the way it needs to be, or I should make it more realistic, like one of those Greek statues with the little shriveled up joints.
I've actually seen a statue of David. I wasn't impressed. I think for me, that's something we have to consider, right? Because I was talking to my friend, and I was like, I was going to have a flaccid penis and then they were like, nobody's going to be attracted by a flaccid penis. And I was like, you know what? I'm not attracted to any kind of penis, so maybe I should just listen to them. But it might be something that I have to talk to. Chris, which you prefer?
I think some girls like the semi chub, right? Like it's like halfway there, like so it's got some girth, but it's not like,
Ain't nothing worse than that fucking full hard on. You gotta do some shit like you walking through the mall, you cutting the grass or something. It's just like real inconvenient.
Pitching a tent
while walking in the mall just randomly. It is a good question though. I don't know personally if male nudity sells as well as female nudity on Kickstarter. If that's the question, if that's the question, I don't know. So I personally probably will have to see more people do it to like want to venture into it, because personally it's not like obviously my taste of like what I want what I get on a cover, so I'm not even entirely sure what like it would take. I think it would take like actually doing research and seeing like what types of like guy not safe for work covers would sell, right? Like we know the types that like really sell for female characters, but what is that translate over for male characters? It probably isn't the same thing, right? Because obviously men and women are we're attracted to different things, and it also depends on who is the audience that it's geared towards. Is it towards women that like men? Is it towards men that like men? It's hard to say. I would have to see more, like do a lot more research. So at the moment I don't know, probably not, but I think if it made sense financially, it would be it would be silly not to, just like it would be silly not to try and take advantage of the fact that you could make a lot of money off of a not safe for work or more mature type of things online.
I think people would buy the cover. I would probably buy a male nude cover before a female nude cover, because it's something different, to be honest. Mm-hmm. Like what the fuck? It's like just something different. You can get that anywhere. I think. I mean, talking about underserved, like it just makes sense to say when people. I mean, you have to also consider the market for sure.
Right.
I'm doing like a wrestling comic book actually, and it's gonna be our boy Christopher is pansexual, and he's perpetually down bad, I would say. And he likes everything. So I was like, all right, let's lean into that and give us the dexterity to appeal to, let's find our audience, be it, women, we're trying to attract women that like, man, well, let's find it and then just fucking appeal to what they like at that point. So like, which is like, of course, kind of goes back to being dexterous, you know what I'm saying? Being dexterous and being willing to just see what works. Like this, I think like just trying something new and just watching the results is like underrated. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't dipping your toe in is cool. It's lit.
Yeah, for sure. I think also it's like an interesting conversation of like what's the best way to approach not safe for work stuff? Is it like to go into like underserved stuff, like an underserved community or an underserved fetish? Like, is that the lane that you want to do and trying to get as much money from that group? Sort of like in the line of like, yeah, like furries, right? Like if you're an artist, right, like you can just make a lot of money selling furry art because furriers will pay you a lot of money for their niche, right? So is that like the same sort of thought process? Do you want to like find the niche and make your comic book and your cover that sort of fits that niche, and which is kind of like that cover that I showed you, which is like, obviously has like a certain fetish or niche that is hitting a little bit harder than other ones. Like, is that the right way? Or is it to go super wide with it? Like, is it something more like a Pat Shand Steamy where you have like really popular, really attractive, or really popular artists with really attractive, baseline attractive women, like an artist like Steppen, and then like a hot white woman with black hair or something, or like Kickstarter really loves white women with blue eyes, like blonde women. That's like their any single one, any Kickstarter you see that makes a lot of money.
I kind of have a problem with that. And not Pat Shand stuff looks amazing, and I actually want to support it. But I'm like, where's the black or people of color erotica? Like, I feel like that's a void that needs to be filled. And also, just like when you're talking about like nudity in men, like right now in webtoons, it's all about like the romance manga, which bumps against erotica. But I'm sure there's a lot of people in that world who would transition into a more erotica stuff. So maybe there is maybe we're onto something here, is what I'm saying. Like maybe we do need to create it and see if putting a naked dude on a comic is going to get us a lot more attention. I have this comic book that I'm thinking about just kind of doing a combo where it's like, a naked dude and a naked woman on the cover, kind of both, and having like something there, just seeing how people react to it as an alternate cover. Just because, for me, I'm just like, I talked to my wife, she would be down for seeing a comic book that had people of color in these types of, this type of artwork. So yeah, who knows? Maybe within a year, we're going to start seeing more of this stuff.
I think that's that might be a 6-figure idea, honestly. Like a sex positive anthology that featured people of color. I mean, that's something. I mean, that could make you a lot of money, AJ. That's a lot of money. So it's definitely something. It's definitely something to keep in mind. I think it's definitely a good idea.
Melanated love. There you go.
Ebony Nights.
That would make bread on Kickstarter. I'm not gonna lie. Someone's gonna steal it from this Kickstarter, from this stream, and be like, make a lot of money from it.
They can have it. All right. I think it's about time we wrapped up. We were on topic for about 10 minutes, I think. But we
were on topic for a while.
I had a great time with y'all.
We had to pivot. Y'all down for? I kind of want to get to some rap talk. Honestly, y'all down?
Oh, let's talk rap, bro. Let's talk rap.
Now, I think you should save it for when AJ should come back for when we bring everybody back and do part 2. That's what
literally we don't have enough spots. If we get the exact people,
Wait, no, we get 6 slots. So we have one more slot, I'm pretty sure.
Pat, Charlie, JL. Yeah, I'm with it.
Yeah, we have one more slot. So I think that would be the move, because we were doing a rap goat list, and we only got like halfway through, and then there was a bunch of people missing, like that needed to be on there. Like we didn't get to do Kendrick. There was no Drake. There was no Chance. There was no was even Lil Wayne on there. It was pretty. There was a lot of like new age people that we didn't get to.
You know what I'm thinking though?
talk
What we
about.
can do honestly, instead of going through I'd like the left right thing, but I like the idea of like an MVP. Like you get like a GOAT, like you get like 10. Let's say 7 votes, and then like first place, second place through 7th, and then like we can kind of just go through and say, okay, what did we vote on? Who got the most? Like basically on a point system and see who's the GOAT for real. Like that might be cool and in contention with that. I'm with it. We got a lot of people. I always hate the end when we got people watching because I feel like we're leaving money on the table. But I'm hungry as fuck.
I got my dinner sitting too. I'm just like,
I'm hungry. I made some.
You doing a session? You put one in the air tonight too, Stokes?
I'm gonna definitely. What you mean? You saw smoke? Like Chris Moses pack, bro. This shit. Good. All right, guys. We had AJ. Thank you so much. Can't wait to read Dragon Face. It's lit. It's lit.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm gonna shameless plug. Everyone, go to earthtoneking.com. That's earthtoneking.com. I have Dragon Face, and I have my other comic, Kimmy Cosmic, which is my science fantasy space adventure. Dragon Face is my horror thriller. So you can grab this on earthtoneking.com.
Good.
Word. I'll put it in the chat for y'all.
Hold on. Yeah.
Thank you so much for the support, Stokes. You the big homie. Keep doing your thing. And Chris, like I said, I want to definitely follow
Chris,
up
you're here too.
Grab your stuff.
Chris is here too. He's an accessory.
Yeah, right. I appreciate you coming on, AJ. Yeah, we got Control Z2 and 1, both of them being sent out tomorrow and the day after. So if you did back this campaign, make sure to be taking a look at your mailbox because it'll be arriving over the next week. And get ready for April 10th, the Saturn Effect Alpha number 5. You can get issues 1 through 5. You can catch up. You can get volume 1, and you can get the newest issue in the series, which is the first issue of volume 2, the Saturn Effect Alpha 5. And we got a bunch of amazing artists on it. Francesco Mazzoli is doing the art. Marco D'Alessandro with the colors. We have variants from Andrea Scalmazzi, Caballero, F Killer. There's just so many people. Marco Del Forno. We got shorts from Jennifer Ventura, Andrea Errico, and Emmanuel Tomanelli. Like we got it's a big one. It's a big, huge sci-fi fucking epic. Back, follow. It's about to go crazy. All right, sorry, so you can go.
I'm hungry as fuck, man. All right, y'all. I'm out. I'm like, y'all be easy.